Hey, my brothers and sisters, Wayne here, and today I went shopping. And while I was shopping, this pallet comes out and it's got toilet paper and paper towel and cleaner and all sorts of stuff on it that's been out. And I was, I've won the lottery. And I got really excited. And I started grabbing things frantically and I started throwing in my cart. And while I'm doing that, I actually have this Bible verse that pops in my head, which it comes from Matthew 6, which says, "Do not store up for yourself earthen treasures where moths and rust consume, where thieves break in and steal, but rather store up for yourself heavenly treasures. For where your treasure is, your heart will also be." And I'm standing there and I've got this huge, package of toilet paper in my hand. And I'm like, uh-oh. And I have this battle between my brain where on the one hand, I have 7 people in my house. I've got 5 kids, my wife and myself, and I am rightfully so. I could store up for what possibly is coming ahead because honestly, people have failed us, right? Our families have failed us at times, our friends have failed us at times, our government has failed us at times, even our jobs have failed us at times, and sometimes even their church has failed us. Uh, and so I think, well, I need to provide for them and I need to store up. But at the same time, I'm also having this battle in my head from a heavenly perspective of, if I consume all this stuff, if I take more than I need right at this moment, then there are other people who do need right now who won't be able to get. And so as I'm sitting there again with this big roll of toilet paper in my hand, uh, I also had this Psalm 23, which we just prayed on Sunday, which is, "The Lord is my shepherd, there is nothing I shall want. In verdant pastures he leads me." And we stop right there. When I was in the seminary, I actually heard a talk about pastures and about how when we think of pastures, we think of, the farm hills of, the Midwest, right? We see the rolling hills of grass and that's what we think of. But David actually grew up in Palestine and Israel and that whole area. And when David was there and he's writing this psalm, they had not those grasslands. They actually had deserts with these little piles of grass. And shepherds would bring their flock to these little piles of grass where they would consume for their day. And that kind of reminds me about how God is supposed to provide for our daily needs. And so while I'm standing there, I also have this one prayer that comes into our head that, "Give us this day our daily bread." And I thought to myself, uh-oh. And I started putting stuff back. Um, and so that's our challenge today. And that's really what our question of the day is what can you sacrifice today to help the greater community? So for me, it was don't take too much, to take only what I need for right now, not for what is going to come later. It could also be taking the money that we would consume at restaurants and places, maybe offer that to the poor. I know there's a lot of care services around that are in need of funding right now. And so we could be doing that as well. So, what sacrifice are you going to make today? While we're at it, we're asking you to pray for those that are feeling lost and alone. Again, with all the churches and schools and businesses that are starting to shut down, uh, people are starting to feel lost and they're starting to feel alone. Where are they in this place, in this world? And so please pray for all of those people. Pray for us as well and know that we are really praying for you. From all of us here at Impact, thanks for watching. Please know that you're loved and may God continue to bless you today and every day of our lives. Peace.